It is such a rainy day today, but it is the perfect weather to cozy up and crochet. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I have such an exciting project. Today we are going to be crocheting some baby shower gifts for my friend's sister. So she is having a baby soon, and as an artist, as a crocheter, as someone who really does value handmade gifts, of course I had to step in and make something for her and the baby. So while I explain what we're going to do today, let's make some quick breakfast so I have the energy to crochet non-stop today. This morning, I'm going to start off by making a yogurt bowl. I make this every single morning, no fail, and I even pack it to work as well. It's just so filling and very, very healthy as well. Okay, this is not really a day in the life, so let's talk about crochet. So today, I want to make a blanket and a plushie for the baby. I recently found out the gender of the baby, but as I'm recording this, the mother doesn't know the gender of the baby, and I don't think she even knows I have a YouTube channel. So I would hate for her to come across this video and then discover the gender of the baby through this video. Like, that would be an absolute disaster. But yeah, I want to crochet a blanket and a plushie. The blanket, I have no idea what I want it to look like. The plushie, I want to use this Jellycat crochet bunny pattern that I saw on the internet a while back, and every single resource that I use in today's video, I will link it in the description box below, from the tutorials that I use and also some of the things that I use in terms of the eyes for the plushies and some labels as well. I will have that all linked in the description box below. After I made and ate my breakfast, I began browsing YouTube for the perfect baby blanket. I didn't want the blanket to be too feminine or too masculine. I wanted this blanket to be used by any gender, and I wanted to be soft and elegant, like a really nice, pretty, simple design. And I know that sounds very vague, but in my head, I knew exactly what I was looking for, and I came across the perfect pattern. So for this blanket and everything that I'm making in today's video, I did end up using acrylic yarn. And acrylic yarn, I feel like a lot of people talk down on acrylic yarn. First of all, it's very, very affordable. It's very easy to work with. It comes in so many different thicknesses as well, and it's just the go-to yarn. And when I started crocheting about a year and a half ago, my room was full of just acrylic yarn, and I still have a lot of that in my yarn stash as well. So I thought, why not use some of it for today's project? And this is also good for baby skin as well. I'll provide more details in the description box below about acrylic yarn. It doesn't harm the skin, it doesn't irritate the skin either, but to make sure that it's safe for the baby, just to be extra sure, I did do something that you will see later on in this video to make it like 100 times better. So yeah, in short, don't sleep on acrylic yarn. Like, don't listen to anyone who tells you that it's not worth buying. It's really, really good to use, especially as a beginner, and especially if you're broke like me. Okay, so I used a 4mm crochet hook for this blanket, and I had 4 skeins of this white yarn, and it turns out I did not need 4. I used like 1.5, so now I just have a lot of white yarn lying around in my room. So I'll see other projects that I can use that yarn for, but typically I don't even like crocheting with white yarn, but that's a story for another time. So I decided to chain 120. The chaining process was very, very irritating because I had to have the same tension for all the chains just so it doesn't look bad, or it's not too tight, it's not too loose. And keeping the same tension for 120 chains was very, very hard. And then I began working on my first round. And whenever I crochet projects that just require so much chaining, I get so annoyed working into that chain. And then all the other rounds after you work into the chain just comes so much easier. I hope that makes sense, but if you're a crocheter, it should make a little bit of sense. I'm not sure what this stitch is called, but it is very, very, very pretty. I love this stitch. It did take me like 2 tries to get the hang of because I don't really try that many different stitches at all actually when it comes to crocheting. I tend to use the same stitches but in different ways. Like I could use the single crochet, double crochet, treble crochet, but in different ways to make it look like it's a different stitch, but it's not really a different stitch. But yeah, this pattern was very, very, very pretty, and it just ticked all the boxes that I wanted for this blanket. After a while, these rows became very, very repetitive, so I didn't really film much. Whenever I'm making something that just requires me to do the same thing over and over and over again, I tend not to record much because my speech will just become very, very repetitive. So I did finish off the blanket the next day because it was getting really, really late. The more rows that I did, and I didn't want to stay up to crochet, so I began to continue it the next day, and I was watching a show on the TV, and just look at this progress. It looks like it's almost big enough for me to use, and I actually do want to crochet myself a blanket, but I don't know if I have the I don't know if I have the energy to. It's even hard for me to get out because I'm just thinking about the long process behind crocheting a blanket, but that's one of the things that I really, really want to do. I have knit a blanket before, but you know, it's not crochet, so I will add that to my to crochet list, and we'll see in the future. A couple hours later, the blanket was complete, and like I mentioned to you guys at the beginning of this video, I want to make this blanket a lot softer than it actually is, and you can even see on camera before I do this process, it is already very, very soft, and hopefully it'll keep the baby really, really nice and warm. But just to be on the safe side, I decided to wash it with some fabric softener, and I just put it on the delicate cycle, and then that just washed up, and the blanket was a lot better than before. So I recommend that you do this whenever you use acrylic yarn for projects. Just put it in the washing machine with some fabric softener, and then it should be perfect. I will show you what the blanket looks like at the end of the video when we package everything, but for now let's work on the plushie. Before over a million times. Who would ever thought that it would be our time? I just know it, 'cause you're the one. It ain't a selfish love when I'm with you. Remind me of the lost. I forgot my tripod at home, so please excuse these bad angles. have used this pattern before for the crochet bunny, but that was almost 2 years ago and I really don't like the outcome. At the time, I was so proud of myself because it was the third plushie that I ever crocheted at the time. So I learned so many different techniques as well. My amigurumi was getting so much better, and I even put a little bow on the top as well to really make it look very cute. And I embroidered the nose, and I just went all out and I used every skill that I had, and on top of learning new skills as well to make this bunny. But yeah, looking back at it now, I don't really like how it turned out. However, it's a good reference point, so we can see if today's bunny is better than the original bunny that I made. But I definitely don't hate it by any means. It does have a lot of flaws, but I think that's what makes it look a lot more beautiful and more handmade. But today we need to stick to professionalism. I don't want any flaws in anything that I make, especially since it's actually going to someone as a gift. I was having a little bit of trouble on where to place the eyes, and I think I got the placement right. It looks a bit off on camera. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to look at it and see where should I even put these. From the side it looks good from both sides, but I feel like this is not even for some reason. I'm gonna try again and see what I can do. But yeah, it does look really bad on camera, but when I'm looking at it right now, it doesn't look that bad. But let's see if I can just change the positioning. Because this eye is like in the perfect location, but it's just when I put the second eye, that's when it looks really wrong. Oh, definitely not here. um, yeah. Hmm. Okay, so I think the positioning of the eyes that I have here looks perfectly fine now. And yeah, like I said, it does look a lot better in person, trust me. But okay, so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna start off by stuffing the body, and then that's all the pieces that we have, and then we need to just sew everything together. So here I have a bit of stuffing, so we're just going to begin putting it in now. I think as I'm stuffing, I'm going to put my camera on the charger because it's literally flashing red, so I don't want to have to stop recording for a long period. Typically, when I make plushies, I tend to pin all the body parts on so I know exactly where I need to sew them on. So that is what I did, and I also have a rough idea on what it looks like when everything is finished as well, and I was very happy with the placement. And another thing that I do, I mentioned it on my TikTok page. If you don't follow me on TikTok, it's at Aisha Mac. Same for Instagram. I post a lot of my stories as well and different random hacks that I find. So whenever I make plushies, I sew with acrylic yarn. A lot of tutorials will tell you, oh, leave a tail for the sewing, but I don't like sewing with plush yarn. For me, the yarn tends to split and I don't feel like it's secure enough, especially when I make it for babies and children and toddlers. I want them to be very secure, all the pieces. I don't want them ripping off ears or ripping off arms and legs. And I found that using acrylic yarn or just a firmer yarn to sew the different pieces on works 100 times better than leaving a tail. But sometimes I do, but majority of the time I don't. And let me know in the comment section below if you've ever tried using acrylic yarn to sew on your pieces, or you just leave a tail with your plush yarn. Either way does work, but for durability I would 100% opt for using acrylic yarn for all of the sewing. And just like that, the bunny is complete. It looks so adorable. I was literally screaming off camera. I love it when everything just starts coming together. All your hard work comes together, all your ideas come to life. I love the process, but also the results. Oh my gosh, this is so adorable. I'm gonna make one for myself, but in pink. I have some pink plush yarn, so expect to see that on the coming days. But this is so cute. This is just so adorable. But why does it look like a boy? The bunny looks like a boy. Like usually when I make plushies, it doesn't really look like a boy or a girl. I just have to give it a gender. But this is already screaming like I should be a boy, you know? So we're gonna keep it a boy. I love giving my plushies different names and genders and everything. I used to do that so much when I was little. But yeah, and just like that, everything is complete. So all we have left to do is to package everything. And I love packaging things. I really enjoy that process so much. Probably even more than the actual crocheting itself. But to package this, I started off by folding up my blankets, and I was gonna sort this one out first. And I decided to use some of this floral wrapping paper that I had. I ordered a bunch of it when I used to crochet flowers for gifts and stuff. I have so many crochet flowers. And also, before we even get there, I forgot to mention, I have this bunny that I crocheted a while ago, and sorry, this bear that I crocheted a while ago, and I think is an absolutely perfect addition to this little gift bag for the baby. And I love the teddy bear and its little gold bow. And I decided to add these stickers that say handmade with love and handmade on it as well, just in case people ask where she got it from. You know, she can say Aisha. Aisha made it. You know, she's selling them if anyone's interested. But yeah, all jokes aside, I love putting these handmade stickers on it because I just think it just adds a nice touch of authenticity. Before I finished off packaging everything, I decided to add a little bow on the bunny just so it can match the bear. They can be close friends. And I also added this handmade sticker on it on the tip of its ear just to match the bunny as well. So the part where it got a little bit complicated was figuring out how to package this blanket. I think I overcomplicated it a lot, and I'm sure you can tell by the lighting. It was the evening, and my brain it does not work properly in the evening, so I think that's why I was overcomplicating things. You can just see the process for yourself, guys. It was really bad. Okay, so after a little bit of trial and error, I did manage to get the blanket nicely packaged, and everything just looks so cute and so perfect. This bunny is too adorable. It's so cute. And I love the blanket packaging as well. And I forgot to mention, after I washed it with the fabric softener, it smells gorgeous and it's so fluffy. Like, I'm so tempted to make one for myself. It's so nice. Alright guys, that is the end of today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you made it this far, comment down below which one is your favorite out of the things that I made in this video. Is it the bunny, is it the bear, or is it the blanket? Me personally, it's tied between the bear and the blanket. I don't know, the blanket just does something for me, and the bear is so adorable. It just looks so royal, so professional. Alright guys, as always, I will see you in the next one.